All right. It's me, D Hodge, as always, and with me is a now full of shirt, not shirtless anymore, Big Shrimp. What's going
Hey,
on?
I thought you were in the mood, man. I was trying to comply.
Well, if you're watching, you can now watch these get-togethers now on YouTube. Big Shrimp finally got his crap together, and we're finally doing these over Zoom now. So hopefully, there's a little bit of audio difference as well instead of being over the phone.
Did you seriously just no sell or just seriously ignore my little remark?
I did
Huh.
because
Let's
you come
see,
to me.
plain
I
hard to
was
get.
like, well, for the how long has it been? 4 months, and I'd be like, hey, dude, we need to do Zoom. We have to do it. It's better audio. It's going to sound like we're in the same room. We have to do it. We have to do it. And then you go, no, man,
Yeah.
it's just easier over the phone. And then you text me and you say, hey, send me the invite because I had a guest on the podcast last week and he sent me an invite. So I can see how well you think of me other than the guest on the podcast.
Okay, first of all, it wasn't a guest. It was a theologian. As anybody that listens to my show on a regular basis or anybody that knows me knows that religion and theology is one of my passions. And it was a private conversation. And yeah, so he said, "Yeah, let's do a Zoom." And I said, okay, how do you do it? Excuse me for being late to the party. And he said, well, I can send you an invite. And I said, great. He did it. It worked. And I thought, well, Hodge is always mm, acting like he's on a rag when it comes to wanting to do Zoom. So
Yeah.
I thought, well, I'll give in. I'll give in to my partner here,
Well,
and
you
we'll
always
start doing Zoom.
complain. You're always complaining about we need to be more professional than what we are. And I try to be professional, and you always shoot it down every time. Every time. And this is something that I was passionate about. And now you can realize why I'm doing it. Everyone's doing it. Sounds like you're in the same room together. It's not like Skype, which is, I figured out, by the way, that's what's wrong with my microphone. Remember how I kept telling you that my microphone kept sounding echoey and crap like that? Figured out it's Skype.
Yeah,
It's not my microphone because it doesn't do it on Zoom. It just does it when I'm on Skype. So it has to be Skype.
interesting.
But
Well, now that we're doing video, I've got to figure out how to make my station a little bit more presentable. I've got some equipment I've ordered, as you know, Hodge. Hopefully that'll help. But yeah, anyways, you asked earlier how I was doing, and we totally just detoured. I'm doing all right. I've had an interesting week. Um, as you know, a few days ago, pro wrestling legend Danny Hodge passed away, and then later that day, it was announced that John Huber, also known as
Brody Lee,
uh, Brody Lee and Luke Harper in the WWE, passed away. And
yeah.
um, I don't, I don't want to sound heartless. A lot of people know I am very passionate about the business of professional wrestling. But over the years, especially of my adulthood, there's been so many wrestlers and legends die that in a way I've almost become kind of jaded. But it didn't really affect me too much. I thought, man, that's a shame. Um, he had been sick for a couple of months, John Huber. But then last night, watched the AEW tribute show, and
Man.
yeah, that broke me. I was in tears
That
the whole
that
time.
was that was rough to watch. I texted you last night. I said I have to stop. It was
Yeah,
because you sent me over a clip and it was Jim Cornette and he was talking about how this is really since the early '90s the first time we've had something like this besides a car wreck or drugs or
hmm
cancer and illness that someone's just passed away in their active roster. Like, I mean, I guess you could
right.
consider Eddie Guerrero, but I think we kind of knew Eddie Guerrero was sick for a little bit there.
Well, Well, Eddie Guerrero, we knew he had a history of drug abuse. As a matter of
Right.
fact, he was fired by the WWE prior for failing a drug test.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you watch the evolution of Eddie Guerrero's career, you can see at some point he started using steroids, and that led to an enlarged heart. But yeah, the remarkable thing about it was that it was a secret, well kept, how sick he was, and that's another thing Corny was really
Yeah.
going on about is how amazing it is that in this business, when there aren't any more secrets, kayfabe is dead and gone. That's something that everybody guarded really well. So
Yeah. I didn't
yeah,
think about it until I guess when I was watching back some of John Huber's matches, and it was I don't know how long he's been sick, or we don't even know what he's died from, just a non-COVID related lung, um, whatever it was. But
right,
I guess you can tell a little bit that he wasn't like he was when he was in his WWE days. Like he was active, but he was very, stiff, was trying not to get too winded. You could tell some of the times
right,
when that was to happen. And so understandably, they're like, "Hey,
yeah,
look, man, we're going to keep you safe. We're going to give you a job, and we're going to keep your family healthy as well." So, but
and they did it, and they're continuing to honor the family, which I love. So but we need to move on to the crux of the conversation of this podcast episode. And by the way, I'll tell you, I'm also late to the party, not only to Zoom, but El Chapo. Uh, I know when Bobby and the show was talking about it nonstop on Netflix, the El Chapo stuff, I didn't really watch it. Over this last week, I've been binging YouTube videos, and that is one side MF for dude. I'm trying not to curse as much. I'm trying to cut down on my cursing. So let's see how that works out. But it was one side dude, man, being able to escape and the tunnels he had and pretty wild stuff.
yeah, I haven't watched the El Chapo stuff, but I actually today, when we're recording on New Year's Eve, for what we're going to get to here in a minute, the main subject is the New Year's Day special. I just finished the Queen's Gambit on Netflix. I was texting you and I was like, "Hang on, give me 10 minutes. I'm trying
Yeah.
to finish this show." I was on the last episode. Man, that has to be one of the greatest shows of 2020. It was fantastic.
I think Bobby rated it number 3 or 4 on a 1 to 10.
Yeah. But see,
Um,
I
but
didn't,
what's it about?
they were talking about it on the show. And I was like, about a girl that's plays chess. I'm not a chess fan. I'm not going to watch it, right? Because sometimes I'll take their recommendations, but a lot of the times I don't because they just like different stuff than what I like. But then I heard Joe Rogan talking about it, then Dak Shepard talking about it, then everybody else talking about it. I'm like, well, I at least have to watch the first couple of episodes to see what everybody's talking about. It's about this girl who is in she's an orphan, right? So they're in this orphanage,
Orphanage.
and she stumbles down to the basement where she finds the janitor playing chess. And she's like, "Hey, I want you to teach me." And he teaches her, and she becomes this child prodigy, becomes a pro at like 16, gets addicted to drugs and alcohol, and she's trying to do that in her life of playing chess. It's only like 7 episodes, and I think like 45 minutes a piece, something like that. So, I mean, it took me like 3 days to watch it because I don't I keep myself from binge watching or doing anything binge worthy because I know I have a tendency to if I don't stop, I'm gonna watch the whole thing or read the whole book or whatever.
Yeah. I have noticed that when I binge, and I guess it's common sense, but there's a lot of little things that I miss.
Hmm.
I don't catch it all the first go around, and it's hard to process everything. To have your mind process every little detail and every bit of information that's being thrown at you if you really sit down and watch everything um, in a binge. So
Yeah.
yeah, um, I don't know. I might check it out. Um, I'll be honest, it doesn't sound like anything I'm too interested in.
I said the same
But
thing.
if everybody's
I said the same thing. I was like, this is going to be one of the yeah. But it's not about chess. It's about chess, but it's not. I don't know if that makes sense. Chess is the side character. There's a bunch of other main characters and main dinners there instead of just
got you,
it's like green bean casserole at Thanksgiving. You know it's there. You may not get a piece of it, but you know it's there.
green bean casserole.
Green sweet potato pie, whatever.
No, I'm
Pumpkin
not hating
pie.
on you. I'm not hating on you. I just not hating on you. It is what it is. It's
But
a
look,
funny choice though.
let's
Uh,
get down to the nitty gritty here.
New Year's.
New
All
Year's.
right, it's been a crazy 2020. 2020, in a way, I had a crazy New Year's Eve for 2020, and I should have known that 2020 would probably be nuts just based on that alone. Um, it's in one of the earlier simulcasts from the beginning of the year, but I'll go ahead and rehash the story real quick. Um, it's also my first New Year's Eve being in Johnson City for the last few years. I've either been in Nashville or I went to Columbus, Ohio to see a friend of mine, Tina Maharat, uh, do a ceremony where she was elected to the Senate in Ohio. So it's my first time in Johnson City in a while. But yeah, last New Year's Eve, had a wonderful time hanging out on Broadway in Nashville. Um, I met a fellow B teamer, um, and then her and her, I think, husband or boyfriend. And then I met a couple of artists that knew who I was. I didn't know who they were, they knew who I was because of the show. And then I spent the uh, final hours, I think from like 8 p.m. until 1 a.m. at the Honky Tonk Central, my favorite bar on the planet. The corner of 4th and Broadway. I call it my church. Uh, the band was rocking. It was awesome. I was caught by surprise because come to find out it's like $20 cover charge, and it's the only time of the year they charge to get into these bars on Broadway. And that's because they give out a complimentary thing of champagne at midnight, which was awesome. And so but no biggie, I had the money. And I just thought, oh, wow. No, I never had to pay to come in before, and I've been in a million times. So I had a plan that I would stay there a little while, then I'd leave early and go to the temple. Um, at the time, I was practicing Buddhism and went to a Lao temple. So I called a cab, went to a Lao temple. I paid $14, and apparently either all the monks were asleep or uh, the temple was doing their New Year's festivities at a different temple, 40 minutes away. I wasn't going to risk it. I having to pay the Uber to take me all the way out there. So I ended up paying $14 again to go back to the Honky Tonk Central. So that was $28 wasted. Got back into the Honky Tonk Central because I had a bracelet. Didn't have to pay my fee again to get in. And then um, my phone starts acting up. I can't get an Uber or a Lyft to go back to my hotel. And finally, oh, I'm texting Brittany nonstop. Like, Brittany, can you get me an Uber or Lyft? I can't do it because they'll send it to my house. I said, no, they won't, Brittany. I'll pay you back. That's the money. She said, no, they'll send it to my house. They won't send it to you. I don't know how to tell them to come to you and not to me. So I thought, whatever. Finally, I got it to work. And because it was New Year's Eve, prices were jacked up tremendously. What should have been like an $8 fare to get to my room ended up being like almost $100. Um, and so like the whole night was shitty. Oh, not the whole night. That part of it was shitty. And just the fact I wasted $128 altogether when you count the cab to the temple and back to the honky tonk and then going home to my hotel. And then, uh, yeah, so I should have known that, man, this is going to be a weird year. And well, you know who won the pony? It was a crazy year for all of us. Um, COVID, no joke. I've lost people in my personal life. Didn't think I'd lose. A lot of celebrities have gone. A lot of families have lost a loved one they shouldn't have lost so soon. And you know, it's just been crazy. The economy's been up and down. My city of Nashville has had a hell of a year. Tornadoes, and they had a wind burst come through, and then the bombing on Christmas. Um, so yeah, my dad asked me last night. Those of you that know, you know, my dad is flying due to a drive-by shooting. I help him out a lot online. I help him out over the phone. We talk every day, and he asks, "What is this? What is that? What does this look like? What does that look like?" And so I help him out, and he can do this thing on his phone, even though he's fine. He can still post stuff on Facebook, but I have to help him. And we made a post, and I didn't know what to say. He wanted to have a nice post for New Year's, and I thought anything would be better than what we had this year. And you know, I said, just say cheers. Uh, here's to 2021. And that's all I can say to you folks so listening and watching. Here's to 2021. Bottle of water, not quite a glass of champagne or a wine, but I toast everybody. Happy 21. I implore you, if you're a science denier, a math denier, but being selfish and ignorant, willful ignorance is the worst of them all. Wear your fucking mask. You know, I would have cursed word out. Wear your fucking mask. Get the vaccine. Be a responsible citizen of society. And let's get over this. Ouch.
Yeah. I never make New Year's resolutions because, for one, I think they're dumb. And two, if I were, I probably wouldn't stick to them just because my schedule's so hectic. But
Yeah.
you remember last year I told you that 2020 was going to be our year. I remember I said that. And then the COVID hit, the pandemic hit, and it was like we hit a downfall. Neither one of us were able to book guests for a while because everyone was scared. And I remember it was like May, it may have been June, something like that. And I always pre-record in advance. So like right now I'm sitting on like 8 podcasts that I've done throughout the past 3 or 4 months. That's just in case something happens. And I have 8, 9 weeks that I can figure out a plan. And I said, okay, I'm good. And then I went and looked and I only had one podcast recorded. And I said, oh my God, I've only got 1 week. I've only got 1 week of material. I have nothing else left. And then about that time, I got an email from, no, it was a text message from Big Smo. And we were chit chatting back and forth. And I said, hey, man, want to come back on the show? Um, Doing a couple of things. You got a new album coming out. And he was like, yeah, man, sure. And I recorded that one. And I was like, okay, this is at least 2 weeks. And then that same week, I got Hollywood actor Jason Marsden on the show. And I remember it skyrocketed from there. And so yours is the same. We got a sponsorship, 2 sponsors actually in the same year. We're finally making money on the show. We're advancing in our technology on the show. We're booking big guests on the show. And we're constantly well, I'm not gonna say constantly, but we're consistently getting a little bit bigger. I'm not gonna say each week, each month. Because let's be honest, we don't have that big of a following. We have, I mean, it's in the sometimes it's in the 4 or 5 digits there, but we mostly stick around the, I don't know, what, 2,000 maybe, something like that a week, something like that, close to it. So I know it's not a big following, but at least it's a bigger following than when we first started.
Growth. We're seeing growth.
Yeah,
That's
growth.
that's
And
the big thing.
I don't
Growth.
want to I don't want to jinx myself. I don't believe in jinx or anything like that. But I'm not going to say 2021 is going to be bigger than 2020, because if it's not, then I failed myself. So I'm just going to say I'm hoping it's as good as 2020 was.
Yeah. I just want to keep moving. That's all. I just want to keep moving. Moving forward. Um, there's no room for stagnation. No room for falling behind. Gotta keep marching forward. And since I've come on to uh, the network, partnered with you, um, just in general, you see a lot of growth within yourself too. I know when I first started, we were only doing uh, I forgot the name of that app.
SoundCloud.
Uh, SoundCloud, yes. I thought, hey man, have you thought about trying on other platforms? And you didn't know how, and I didn't know how, but we figured it out, and that spread. And then we started doing Give Women a Chance, and that helped with getting the word out. And then we did
Did
our
we start that
simulcast.
this year?
What, Give Women a Chance?
Yeah.
No, I think we did that. Started that last year, I
Okay, I'm going to
believe.
say that's a long year or so.
Yeah. Then we did our simulcast, and I don't know what I think more than anything, what you and I have proven is that a team effort can get a lot more accomplished than a single unit can. And of course, I readily acknowledge that my podcast, Big Shrimp Radio, wouldn't exist or be what it is without you. So you've helped me a lot, and I've helped you, and we've helped each other grow. And I anticipate the trend to continue. I believe it will. Um, Now we're both doing video, and in addition to the audio, so people can still find us wherever they could before, and now on YouTube as well. And I don't know, we'll see. But on a lot of these holiday specials, we go back and talk about a tradition or a memory, or we bring something up from the past. I kind of went over what I did last year and the year before, and went to Ohio. Um, I can tell you why you think of yours. That years ago, when I was a hardcore Christian, I went to the ministry. Now, folks listening, you just talked about being in a temple earlier, a Buddhist temple. I were talking about being a Christian and you're cursing. What is it? I'm a hodgepodge, y'all. I'm a mess. That's why I fit perfectly with the hodgepodge family, the Hodgepodge Productions Network. I'm a mess. But I used to go to church every New Year's Eve. Services start around 6 p.m. and we sit there till 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. And I was Pentecostal, and so Pentecostal church services, by and large, are usually eccentric, and so they go by a little bit quicker than they would in some other denomination type churches that are quieter and more reserved. But yeah, most of my New Year's have been religiously related. Um, so what about you, Hodge? Do you have any New Year's traditions, any memories that stick out, or
Just a regular day for me. I mean, I'll be honest, it's one of those where, okay, I mean, honest with you, I don't really care too much about New Year's. It's a new year, and we're gonna have this bull crap come out tomorrow. New year, new me. No, it's not. It's the same you, same you. So quit it.
hey, I saw the funniest meme on Facebook about that. I forgot what it said, but I laughed so hard because I'm gonna try to find it while you talk. I'm gonna try to find it.
Yeah, it's just a normal day for me. I remember when we were younger, we just went to bed, woke up, went about our day. I mean, it's not nothing. I guess it would be different if my family would have celebrated it like we did Christmas and Easter and Thanksgiving, and Fourth of July is kind of a bigger deal in my family than a New Year's, because I know this New Year's
Yeah.
I have to work this year. I have to work tomorrow, and then I think I got to work the day after. It's just a normal day because not everything's shut down. Not everything's, it's not like Christmas and Easter and Thanksgiving. Places are still open, and so I feel once they're still open, it's just a normal day.
All right, you know those memes? It's like a Mexican restaurant sign with a
Yeah, and
funny
it
phrase on it.
says, I put that on there. You seen it from me, dummy. It says
Oh,
El Arioro from Austin, Texas. Almost time for that New Year, new me bullshit.
yeah, that's it.
That's it. I know that's it because I
Hilarious.
posted it.
Yeah, yeah. I just couldn't remember who posted it, but the point is that it went along with what you just said. Obviously, it would if you want to posted it. Anyway, it's Free Joe, folks. Now we're going off the rails quickly. I don't have anything else to add. Be on the lookout. Big Shrimp Radio will commence. Got some cool guests coming. I'm going to apologize ahead of time. I've already apologized. I recorded a track and it will play before the Shirley Phelps podcast episode. Uh, Shirley Phelps from Westboro Baptist Church, Hodge and I had her on over a month ago, and I don't look at Hodge. It's like,
No,
just put it in your
I'm just
mouth.
thinking.
Listen,
I'm just thinking because obviously you're going to put yours up next week, I think. And the reason you haven't been putting them up the past 2 weeks is because Christmas fell on a Friday, and then New Year's is falling on a Friday as well. So we just took those off.
yeah,
But I think your Shirley Phelps is going up this coming Friday on my platform because obviously we have different listeners. That's why we jump on each other's stuff every day or interview because we know not the same people are listening.
yeah.
I just don't feel it's the right time for me to put it out right now. If I hold on to it for 6 months, then that's fine. I was gonna put it up a couple of weeks ago, and then I had this dream, and it was like, I don't even remember the dream. I just woke up and said, you know what? I'm not gonna put this podcast out right now. It's gonna have to wait. I think once
I didn't want to
everything,
put it out for a while.
I just think once everything calms down and everything just simmers back down to a little bit of a boil, and we're not overboiling in the pot. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've not wanted to put it out for a while for obvious reasons, but so those of you that know Shirley Phelps and Westboro, you know what they're about. If you don't, look them up. I've been a theological nerd. I wanted to lay the foundation and present a different type of interview with them. As most of the interviews they've had, it's been shouting matches. That almost happened in this one with Hodge and her. Hodge called her a hypocrite. Anyway, um, um, I wanted to do something different, and I wanted to level the playing field and let her know, hey, I know what you believe. I know where you're coming from. From a theological perspective, I know why. and not just her views about homosexuality, but her whole views about depravity of man in general. She's a 5-point Calvinist, hyper Calvinist. Some would say primitive Calvinist. Um, and we went over the 5 points of tulip, total depravity, unconditional election, limited atonement, irresistible grace, perseverance of the saints.
Dude, I remember
Talked
none
about
of
all of
this.
that.
I guess I was just so in my
And
head.
she complimented me. She complimented me though at the end of that.
I know.
You really have a grasp on this stuff. Anyways, and then we talked about the doctrines of sexuality and the relevance of those to the depravity of man to begin with. And a lot of times it sounds like I agreed with her or I hold those sentiments. I'm telling you right here and now I don't. Not only, I'll let it be known, I'll be clear. Not only am I not a 5-point Calvinist, a hyper Calvinist, or primitive Calvinist, I'm not even a Christian. Being honest, I'm not. I don't hold those beliefs. I have friends that identify with the LGBTQ community. We've had guests on as well that identify the community. It is what it is. But in my effort to try to level things to a point, it almost appeared like I was on her side in attacking Hodge too. And I'm ashamed of that because that wasn't my intent, but it came out that way. And I don't hold those views. I don't. So, yeah. Also on the Big Shrimp Radio YouTube channel, you guys are going to be seeing videos pop up from season 1 of Big Shrimp Radio of interviews. Since they weren't done in video format, the audio will go up with photos as a slideshow in the background. You guys can thank producer Hodge for that. He's doing the work. And I don't know what else to say, dude. We're just rambling. So yeah. I'm going to go ahead and give my goodbyes. In the meantime and in between time, folks, classic wrestling close. You guys know what I always say. Our tomorrow's never guaranteed, but you know what? You can make the best of today and make today count. That's it in a nutshell. Hodge, I think Hodge likes to say, frown more and smile less.
Yeah. With this, we're going to close out the New Year's 2020.
Really, that's what you say? Special. Frown more and smile less?
No, that's not what I say. At least mine is original. I didn't take mine.
Man. Where did I take mine from?
Didn't you take it from like Jim Ross or something like that?
Just our tomorrow's never guaranteed part.
Okay.
But the rest of the paragraph I made up.
All right.
Minus the aspire to inspire before you expire. I stole that from somebody else.
All right. Well, with these last words, we're going to cut out of the 2020 and go into 2021 without. Whoa. No, we're going to go into 2021. This is the end of 2020. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Happy New Year's, folks. Man, this episode's gone to hell.
All right. Enjoy and frown less. See you later.